Welcome to Speak the Truth 2.0. My name is Cindy. We're going to be joined by my co-host Elijah. And don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that whenever we do pop up, that you'll be first notified. And another thing what we're going to do, we're going to start like having daily broadcasts, and it's going to be between the hours of 3 and 4. So look for us tomorrow between the hours of 3 and 4. And so turn on the notification. Now the reason for this live is about the shutdown. It looks like it's coming to an end, but at what cost? I have been saying for the past few weeks that the Democrats were going to cave because the American people were going to demand it. Because when it gets to the point that federal workers are losing jobs at the rate that they're losing their jobs and going without a paycheck, because during the shutdown, 4,000 more federal workers were let go. Mind you, people have been working for over a month, almost a month and a half without a paycheck. So they are required to go to work. Your TSA personnel, your military, all the federal workers were still required to go to work. And first, I forgot to say, you guys forgive me, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service. Thank you for serving this country. And what people need to know is that it's our military that once they end their tours working for the military, they go into these federal jobs. So while we celebrate this wonderful day, our military Veterans Day, there are some that have lost their jobs. There are some that are homeless on the streets, that are not receiving food benefits and have lost their jobs. So while we celebrate, we need to think of the people that's been affected the most by this shutdown.
Here, go look at the laptop real fast.
What?
Yo, this government shutdown is really like crazy to watch. Like from my perspective, um, it's like just they're like at odds. I wish that Democrats and Republicans could just come together and put their differences aside.
We have to cover it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I wish they could just put their differences aside, but it's like the blame game when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, and it's always either left or right, and not just together.
Yeah, it's just sad. But I knew the Democrats were going to have to cave because when you have 42 million American citizens that are suffering food insecurities, the government can hold out indefinitely because they are not losing any health benefits. The congressmen and women and the president, they're not going to suffer with the government being shut down. It's everyday people, regardless of ethnicity, are the ones that are being affected. So when you have your child and your child sees that you go to work every day, but you go to a refrigerator and there's nothing in it, they're like, well, Mom, you're working, or Dad, you're working. How come there's nothing to eat? How come I'm hungry? And this is a real deal. And we can look at places like Israel that we give billions of dollars to, and I completely, totally support Israel as a Christian. But when I look at Israel, we get billions of dollars a year. Guess what? They don't have any food insecurities. Guess what? Everyone has health care in Israel. Guess what? Everyone has free education. And here you look at the United States of America, while we support the rest of the world with $37 trillion in debt, and we are telling our American citizens at the same time we gave $42 billion to Argentina. But our American citizens, our vets, are suffering. And this is Veterans Day. They fought for us and they fought for our freedoms. And there's no way that we have $37 trillion worth of debt that we're not taking care of our own American citizens. I want my money to go towards American citizens, my taxpayer dollars. If we can take care of 14 plus non-citizens that have entered this country in the last 4 years, we certainly can take care of American citizens who only receive $148 per person, per household that receives the benefits. So anyway, we're going to get to it, but we need to be mindful that we need to take care of those who have served this country. So we're going to go and see, because the Democrats that caved in, they're under fire right now because other Democrats are upset that they decided to cast their votes to open up the government. So
Someone
they're complaining about it right now. Go ahead.
because someone said, "Will you call me into debate?"
Not right now.
One
Do you
thousand.
have a channel? Yeah, because this is a real issue right here, and we do want other opinions, but we're going to go and hear some of the statistics and the numbers, and this is coming from Fox News. We're non-biased. We'll show everyone.
Aisha Hosni on Capitol Hill. Aisha.
Harris, good morning to you. A lot of Democrats are raging this morning because this deal does not include their crown jewel issue. The one thing that they have been fighting for the last 40 days, that is to extend the Obamacare subsidies. It's not in this package. So last night, instead, those eight centrists, agreed with Republicans on this deal to hold a vote on the Obamacare subsidies later on in December. There's no guarantee that that vote is going to pass. There's no guarantee the House would ever take it up. Here are some of those centrists explaining why they went for this.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome.
It was our judgment, after 6 weeks, going on 7 weeks of this shutdown, that path wasn't working.
So Democrats are furious. Some of them are calling for Chuck Schumer's head and saying that this was a huge mistake. Gavin Newsom writing on X, tonight's Senate vote on the federal government shutdown should have been a time for strength. Instead, we saw capitulation and a betrayal of working Americans. The American people need more from their leaders. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson has not officially recalled the House, but he did tell his House members to begin their journeys back to the Hill because he wants to get this done as quickly as possible. The Senate is trying to work on a time agreement right now to skip all the Senate steps to get to final passage. That could happen sometime in the next 2 days. Harris?
Aisha, that's really important because that would really speed up this timeline if there were steps to be kind of pushed to the side for this purpose. I'll get into that with my first guest. Great to see you. Thank you very much. Well, while Democrats fight against the plan to end the record-breaking shutdown, air travel is only getting worse for everybody right now in America. We are on the 4th day of the FAA cutting flights from 40 of the largest airports in the U.S. The number of flights that have been cut will go up another 2% tomorrow. So this is like a phase-in progressive thing until they get to a lot of them on the ground. And we're just hopeful that they can work through the process, as Aisha just talked about, to keep this from hitting Thanksgiving and that travel. Those flight disruptions look like they will only get worse, more severe during that busiest holiday travel period at this point. Today alone, more than 1,600 flights already have been canceled. More than 3,000 flights delayed already. It's not even noon yet on the East Coast. That comes after another brutal travel nightmare over the weekend. More than 4,500 flights canceled, a staggering 18,000 flights delayed. And not by a little bit either. Newark was cooking at about 893 minutes on Thursday and Friday at one point. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
It's only going to get worse. I look to, the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle. I used to have about 4 controllers retire a day before the shutdown. I'm now up to 15 to 20 a day are retiring. So it's going to be harder for me to come back after the shutdown. The only political play here is Chuck Schumer. The safety team looked at data, made a recommendation to me, and it's a hard decision, but that's what we've done to keep people safe.
It is hard decision time. The Democrats know all about that as they caved. Thank God for the country. National correspondent Brian Yennis is at Newark International Airport. So Brian, I was just saying to our viewers that some of those wait times were more than 14 hours at one point. How's it looking now?
Well, it's looking like right now there are just 15-minute delays on the runway. There are about over 100 cancellations, about 100 delays. So far, not as bad as yesterday, but the cancellations and delays just continue to go up. Yesterday was the worst travel day at airports since this shutdown began. And frankly, it was largely because of air traffic controllers who were calling out and not showing up for work. The Transportation Secretary says that was due to economic necessity. President Trump, though, this morning has a message, though, for those air traffic controllers controllers, saying he is not happy for those who are not showing up for work. President Trump writing, quote, "All air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country." On Saturday, just for an example, 18 of 22 air traffic controllers did not show up for work in Atlanta. Controller shortages compounded nationwide on Sunday, leading to more than 10,000 delays and nearly 3,000 cancellations. The FAA is also mandating those airlines to further reduce their flights by 6% tomorrow and by 10% this Friday. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the decision to reduce the flight numbers is about safety, not politics. He's also sympathizing with many of these air traffic controllers who are missing work, he says, because they have to put food on the table, working other gigs. As for today, if you look at FlightAware's misery map, there are more than 2,700 delays and over 1,600 cancellations. The worst of it so far at both Chicago airports, Atlanta, LaGuardia, New York City, and right here in Newark, where we spoke to travelers.
Wasn't bad flying here last week, but you know, it's hitting us today.
I feel bad for the TSA guys. I still don't understand how they're not getting paid. I mean, it's terrible.
Everybody, you know, still needs a paycheck, but it just is what it is, you know. Regardless of what your politics are, we still need to think about others.
Even before this shutdown, Harris, the FAA says they were 3,500 air traffic controllers short of being fully staffed. You've got thousands of them who are working 10-hour days, 6 days a week, mandatory. It's a tough situation out there. Harris.
It's tough for everybody. Imagine trying to feed your kids and you need food assistance.
You know what? When you look at what's going on, the way that I view it, and I know you guys have an opinion, we are going to look at some of your comments, is that the Democrats were going to have to cave. There was no other choice. I knew a month ago that was going to happen, because once food insecurities kicked in, 4,000 more federal workers lost their jobs. People going to work for the last 6-7 weeks and they haven't received a paycheck, when people are aware that Americans live from paycheck to paycheck. I don't think the TSA workers are not just going to work because they don't want to go to work. I think they don't even have money to get to work at this point. They don't have money for lunch at this point. They don't have money to put gas in their cars to go back and forth to work. And that's why some aren't showing up. And not to get a paycheck, that was your incentive to go to work in the first place, that they're not receiving. So I think that there are other factors that, because they are suffering food insecurities, some of them are probably doing DoorDash or they're doing Lyft, that they're trying to do other jobs, so that, because the rent is still going to be due. You still got to pay your electric bill, your gas bill, your water bill. You still have to pay, you know, for your kids' lunch. You still have to take care of your responsibilities. Just because the government shut down, that doesn't mean that would end it. But the bad thing about the government perhaps reopening with the 8 Democrats that caved is at what cost? So we're going to switch starvation to 22 million people not being able to have health care. They're estimating 50,000 people needlessly are going to die per year. They're saying 15 million are not going to be able to pay their insurance's premiums, increasing 2, 3, 4 times what it is now. So at what cost? The hospitals closing, nursing homes closing. So what was the trade-off? So it's amazing what's going on. But we're listening to Fox, but we're going to cover the Democrat side as well. But this is what Fox has to say about it, which is more of a Republican base, is Fox News.
Newark was cooking at about 893 minutes on Thursday and Friday at one point. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
It's only going to get worse. I look to, the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle. I used to have about 4 controllers retire a day before the shutdown. I'm now up to 15 to 20 a day are retiring. So it's going to be harder for me to come back after the shutdown. The only political play here is Chuck Schumer. The safety team looked at data, made a recommendation to me, and it's a hard decision, but that's what we've done to keep people safe.
It is hard decision time. The Democrats know all about that as they caved. Thank God for the country.
See, everybody's looking at the Democrats' cave, and it's amazing. I'm kind of surprised about the Democrats. The reason why I say that is because they just won mightily in the latest race, governor's race. They won the governorship in Virginia and in New Jersey, and they won the mayor's race in New York, the largest city in the country, perhaps the world. So the Democrats should have had realized that the American people are kind of upset at the present administration because it's supposed to be America first. But since Trump's been in office, Americans throughout the country, and it doesn't go by race, are now having food insecurities. Because it doesn't matter, your stomach, everybody's stomach is the same color. And they're unable to feed their families. So I'm surprised that they caved and they didn't get anything out of it. At least extending the Obamacare, thank you so much, God bless you, or extending the Affordable Care Act, because now you're going to have another problem. I have health care. I don't have food insecurities, but I care. This is Veterans Day. Our vets, it bothers me that our vets are part of the ones losing their jobs. The vets are the ones who aren't able to feed their families. The vets are the ones that are going through all of this, because when you serve in the military, what you do, you transfer your time to a federal job. And then you will have your annual leave, your sick leave, and they have seniority. When they come into a federal job and say, I was working at my federal job for 10 years, and I think I have seniority, but that military person can come in and they served in the military for 14 years. So they can come in and they have seniority over me, even though I've been working for 10 years at that federal job. But their time is transferable into the government. So you have a lot of federal workers that they're trying to get rid of. They are our vets. I thank you, everyone who have served. If anybody's on here that served in the military, thank you for your service. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. And you should be getting paid. But I knew this was a no-win, that eventually the Democrats were going to have to cave on this issue because people need to eat. And so now the next problem is going to be people are not going to have health care. And so we're going in from one problem to the next problem. And I thought it was supposed to be better for all of us. America first is supposed to be better for all of us. And I don't know when that's going to kick in.
The United States slips into autocracy. What the American people need and the Democratic Party need is strong leadership. And unfortunately, we have Chuck Schumer, the cowardly lion, who we refer to as Chuckles, who again proved he is a terrible leader. He cannot meet the moment. He is impotent and he needs to step aside. And after agreeing to a CR in the Senate, Chuckles tries to go on the Senate floor and give us the old bamboozle. Oh, it wasn't me. Bullshit. Here he is.
Care away. All to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people. I yield the floor.
What I have to say to that, Chuckles, is bullshit. You are not leading the fight. You are leading the cave. You are snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. You single-handedly, with this vote, one of two things is true. You baited the people that voted for it because they're not running again or they're independents, or it's a complete and total failure of your leadership that you did not whip the votes to keep the senators all voting in a Democratic bloc. This falls on Chuckles first and foremost. I am used to corruption and failure and impotent leadership from Trump. I am used to criminals and nutballs that are unhinged being at the top of that party. But what we need in this moment is leadership, and what we've got is Chuckles, who is so frail and pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic what he did. Even Hakeem Jeffries, who we don't heap praise on all the time, has been able to keep his entire caucus together. But Chuckles doesn't do that because he's behind it. He wants the government to open. Everybody wants the government to open, but you sold the American people down the river. Mike Johnson's already said he's not going to put a vote about the Affordable Care Act on the floor. So you, completely knowing this, did it anyway, and you suck, Chuckles. Step aside, let somebody else take over that's a fighter, that has convictions, and that will not cower to Donald Trump and his hideous authoritarian regime. And the first person in politics to come out against Chuckles was Ro Khanna. And Representative Ro Khanna has been a leader and a fighter throughout this. And he says Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop healthcare premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? Agree 100% with Ro Khanna. Chuckles caved on the last continuing resolution. He caved again. He needs to step aside. Every single Democratic senator needs to go to him and say, step aside. This is horseshit. If you can't do it, let's get somebody in there that can. And somebody we know that can take this fight to this pathetic, weak regime is Bernie Sanders. And this was his take on what happened last night in the Senate.
8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. What it does, first of all, is it raises healthcare premiums for over 20 million Americans by doubling, and in some cases tripling or quadrupling. People can't afford that when we're already paying the highest prices in the world for healthcare. Number 2, it paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off of Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act studies show that would mean that some 50,000 Americans will die every year unnecessarily. And all of that was done to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%.
Here's the thing. According to the data, 50,000 Americans will die. 15 because of the cuts to healthcare. 20 million Americans will be paying double plus for health insurance. Not to mention, Donald Trump is tearing apart not just the White House, but the United States government. And Chuck Schumer, that wasn't enough for you to stand tall and have courage. That wasn't enough for you to take a stand and have conviction for. What's it going to take? What is it going to take for this impotent leadership in the Democratic Party to get clarity and stand firm for not just the senators and the representatives that are under their command but in the Democratic Party, but for all Americans? Because Republicans don't give a shit that more of their constituents require ACA protections than Democrats are on Medicaid. They don't give a shit. But as Democrats, we do. So basically, Chuck Schumer handed Donald Trump a blank check again with zero concessions. He needs to step aside. And here we have another fighter in the Senate, another option for leadership, Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy says, bullies gain power when their misconduct succeeds in crushing righteous people to yield in the face of wrongdoing. That's why voting for Trump's continuing resolution without any protection against his healthcare cuts or his growing illegality is a mistake. I voted no. And leave that up here for a minute, Seth. Here's the thing. The misconduct is going to succeed because of Chuckles and his failed leadership. His absolute authoritarianism is going to succeed because we don't have leadership in the Democratic Party that says, no, we will fight you every step of the way. It is pathetic. It has to change. This has got to be a wake-up call. Seniority, all that shit going on in the Senate, enough. Scrap it. We want fighters in the Democratic Party. We demand fighters. We demand strength of conviction, and we do not have it at this moment. We have got to get it.
Well,
I'd like to take a minute now.
I think she's a little bit upset. We're going to hear from Mike Johnson. I don't know. She has some valid points because who's going to be affected mostly is Trump's base, MAGA. The Affordable Care Act is going to hit those communities more than any other geographic area in the country, or those that voted for Trump. And it's like, as long as like they have this mentality, as long as other people are suffering, that I feel like that I'm above, then I'm okay with it. But just to hear the staggering numbers that 50,000 people could perhaps die. They could die because now they will not be able to get the health care that they rightly deserve. Because if we could take care of the rest of the world and go $37 trillion in debt, but we can't take care of our own American citizens, I don't care what damn party you belong to. I belong to the American Party, okay? I belong to the party that's taking care of the vets, the homeless, the disabled, the seniors, sending our kids to college, like the rest of the world that are sending their kids. They got free health care in so many other countries from, what is it? I think Canada has it, Israel has it, and we're giving billions of dollars to these other countries. But here we are suffering food insecurities at the same time that we so kindly gave $40 billion to Argentina. I have a problem with that because I am about America first. I'm about taking care of our vets. And I'm thanking all those vets that have served. It's like the focus is not even on their service today. It's all on the government shutdown, and it's not over with. Because right now, all these thousands of canceled flights, people don't have money to go to work. Even if they reopen the government, you have to work 2 more weeks. You have to still work to get a paycheck. For them to start getting their paychecks, they still gonna be going through it for another few weeks, whether it opens up or not. And Thanksgiving for a lot of families is not going to be the same this year. So I'm about all Americans, and nobody should have to trade off eating versus health care. So I knew, and I said the Democrats were going to eventually cave. They're going to have to cave because once they cut the SNAP benefits, that was it. Children got to be fed. And if you're not hungry, it doesn't bother you. But people who go to the refrigerator and there's nothing in there and they have a family to feed, there is a whole different crisis for them. A whole different crisis. And our government needs to hear it. So this is the response, from the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. This is like what he has to say about it.
Good morning, everybody.
So let's hear.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very thankful to see you all this morning. I'm thankful to welcome you to what appears to be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, as shameful as that is. I don't think it's coincidental, you know how I think, but it's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks. As we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history. And so here...
I just want to stop on that part. It hasn't been one party that's responsible. It's both parties. The Republicans have the presidency, the Senate, the House, and the Supreme Court. They have everything. They're running the government.
The most important thing.
They're running the government. So you can't blame just one party. It's both parties. the Republican Party refused to come. They were on vacation for the last 6 whatever weeks. And they knew if they starved out America and people start crying about food insecurities, that the Democrats were going to have to cave. I said it weeks ago, the Democrats were going to cave because of the pressure that was going to be put on them by the people. But we're trading to eat versus health care now. Now the Republicans didn't even have the decency to extend it for 1 year. At least extend it for 1 year while we work everything out. Because the people that's going to get hit the hardest are going to be MAGA. Those are the people that are going to be hit the hardest. People that have voted Trump into office are the ones that are going to suffer what this government is doing. And it's not putting America first.
Okay.
We're going to be clear on that.
I'll say his.
And this is Speak the Truth 2.0. We support the Republicans and we support the Democrats, but we're going to speak the truth. We're going to call it like it is. That's the whole point of this show.
I'll say his comment, Jose, because he keeps saying that it's the Republicans'
Both parties.
Now he said why he believes it's the Republicans' fault. He said the Democrats' fault. He said the Democrats refused to vote. They only needed 10 votes to pass, and the Dems didn't want to vote until now.
But you know what? You need to educate yourself. But you're not understanding. What were they voting for? What were they swapping in order to open up the government? What were the Democrats asking for? They were asking to extend Affordable Care Act so 22 million people would not be kicked off of their health care. They asked to extend it because Obamacare, which is known as the Affordable Care Act, was running out, meaning now people premiums are going to go up 2, 3, 4 times more, that it's going to be unaffordable, and then they won't have health care. They were fighting for something. But I knew they were going to cave at the end of the day because the Republicans are like, we're not doing anything to extend health care for Americans, period. They weren't going to do anything. They knew they could wait it out. And that's what they did. Those Democrats that caved in, that I guess Schumer behind closed doors, I think that's what the other lady was trying to say, or some of the Republicans like Mike Johnson or whatever had talked to some of the Democrats that they knew they can convince. But what kind of service are they doing for the American people? Why is it either or? Well, how come in all the countries that we support that they are providing health care for all their citizens? We're paying more taxes. We have the highest health care costs than anybody else in the world. Why is that? What are we doing when you need a prescription and it's a matter of life and death and you can't go to the doctor to get a prescription because you can't afford a doctor, then what happens then? Hospitals are closing up. Nursing homes are closing down. What was the trade-off? The Democrats weren't holding out. They don't even control the government right now because they were just doing it. They were doing it for a reason. I'm not always with the Democrats because they got a whole lot of crap. But I think what they were doing right now was needed to be done, but the American people couldn't handle it any longer because you have people for a month and a half that haven't been paid. You have people who have lost their jobs. You have 42 million people who are suffering food insecurities. The wait was too much. But you can see by the last voting that people overwhelmingly voted for Democrats into office in Virginia, New Jersey, and the mayor's race in New York. So that's showing that the American people in whole are leaning more back towards the Democrats. So in 2026 and 2028, if more people see the impact of this administration and is not doing what everybody thought it was going to do, because they said they never was going to touch Medicare, Medicaid. Remember? America first. Remember? We were complaining about the illegal immigrants getting our benefits. And it was about putting America first with jobs, with health care. And look what's happening. It's like we're almost in worse shape now than we was with that other horrific administration. The previous one.
Now you don't hear from Tom Homan.
I mean, we don't even hear from Tom Homan. Like, what's going on?
Well, average trucker, to reply to what you said, some people need SNAP to survive because they have a whole family to feed. Some people...
You gotta talk louder, Elijah.
Well, you could explain it then.
No, I want you to say, but I want them to hear you. What you're saying is profound.
Yeah, you could explain it.
The thing about it is that what selfish people don't understand is that we have the working poor. If minimum wage is $7.25, multiply that by 8. How much money? And then that's tax. What they actually taking home? $50? And a day? You know how much lunch costs? So you have the working poor. Those are the people that suffer from food insecurities. Then you have your vets. You want to blame the vets? You got disabled. You got seniors. You got homeless. So we're going to blame them, right? But we can take care of other countries with our taxpayer dollars. But we got a problem when we say help Americans with our taxpayer dollars. Which one is it? We say help Americans. All y'all got a problem. Oh, they need to open up. They don't need. Oh, are you kidding me? But if they can send $350 billion to Ukraine. Yeah, we stand with Ukraine. Y'all don't have a problem with it. We say, oh, send $40 billion to Argentina. Y'all say, oh yeah, let's stand with Argentina. When we say send billions to Africa, send billions to the Taliban. What we give them per day? Per week. Cash money. What was it? 40 million or something per week or something we get the Taliban? Cash payment? Since 2021? Y'all don't have a problem when they say let's give money to the rest of the world when we $37 trillion in debt. But when we say help Americans with our taxpayer dollars that I support, I want my taxpayer dollars going to Americans. And anybody got a problem with Americans having help? Are you okay? But we're gonna help the world?
See, this is a problem too. Like,
the only people got something to say are the ones who aren't American citizens. Because if you're American, why wouldn't you want our money to support other Americans versus the rest of the world?
But what I think about the government shutdown, I think that like people are so attached to the party that they're for.
Yeah.
That even if the party's in the wrong, they won't say that it's wrong.
Oh, that is so profound.
Like, I'm a Republican, and I'll say that the Republicans are in the wrong here. Like, you have to be able to admit when the party is in the wrong. That's actually showing like that you care about the party.
If you can't, you don't agree with anyone 100% in any relationship. So how are you going to agree everything that either party does? I'm not in agreement with everything the Democrats do or the Republicans. And whatever they do, we're calling it out. We're not in agreement with what's going on, how the American people were used in this goddamn shutdown. It's all been nothing but suffering. I did not vote for Trump to be in office for all this bullshit that's been going on. America First meant we've been taking care of 14 plus million illegals with no problem. I didn't see any parades. I didn't see no King's March. I didn't see any 50, 51 or whatever big march like they had when Biden was in office. When we opened up the borders and we had all these illegal immigrants, gangs, terrorists, insane asylums, convicted murderers and rapists, all these people came into the country that we take care of even now. Y'all didn't say shit about that. But now when it comes to American citizens, then y'all want to like, oh, well, they need to get a job, or they need to do this and that. They are working. They're the working poor. Nobody wants assistance from the government. They only get you live off $148 for food a month. Try it out. Do a YouTube on, I got 148 and see how far that goes. How many weeks are you going to be hungry, starving, don't have no food? We're going to call out. Nobody has a problem when it comes to giving to the world. But when we say help us with my money, I want my money to go to my vets. I'm not playing with that. And we're showing the Republican side and we're showing the Democrat side, and it's a lose-lose for the American people right now. We're not winning, y'all. What did Martin Sheen say? We're winning? No, we're losing. We're not winning.
Now someone said you and your mom are not Republicans.
Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Look, let me tell you one thing. We're not beholden to man, and we're not beholden to any damn party. We're beholden to God, and we're going to do right in God's eyesight. We don't care whether you agree with us or not, because this is America. You have a right to your own opinion, period. We don't agree with suffering. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. And that's being human. I'm human first. I'm not about, I got to be a Republican. So everybody in MAGA who's suffering more from food insecurities, because you know more MAGA and more white people get welfare than any other ethnicity. Y'all know that, right? Because don't keep watching news. They show black faces. That's a lie from hell. And that's why I like social media right now, because they always try to paint like if black people are suffering, if white people say, oh, it's not, we long as they suffering, we good. And that's what President Johnson said, the former president. As long as you let them think that they doing better than the black person, then you can pick their pockets. They fine with it. But you're suffering. You should be telling the president, look, I voted for you. I didn't vote to go through this. At least under the Democrat leadership, we didn't worry about health care and food insecurities. Why is this happening now? Why is it? We heard all the promises. We believed you. Why are we going through all of this? Why is either or? First you got us suffering here, and now we're going to suffer with health care. And y'all trying to act like that's great. You could believe the lies all y'all want to. I'm not in bubble land. I'm not in bubble land. I'm in reality.
To see you all this morning, I'm thankful to welcome you to what appears to be the beginning of the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, as shameful as that is. I don't think it's coincidental, you know how I think, but it's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain. It appears to us this morning that our long national nightmare is finally coming to an end, and we're grateful for that. At least some Democrats now finally appear ready to do what Republicans and President Trump and millions of hardworking American people have been asking them to do for weeks. But as we said from the beginning, the people's government cannot be held hostage to further anyone's political agenda. That was never right. And shutting down the government never produces anything. It never has, if you study history. And so here we are. I want to remind everybody this morning of another critical point that you've heard me here repeat over and over the last several weeks. It's something that I and Leader John Thune and President Trump and every Republican leader have all said repeatedly from the beginning. We have always been open to finding solutions to reduce the oppressive costs of healthcare under the Unaffordable Care Act. We just made clear that we would not and should not ever do that is negotiate as hostages. And I've also reminded you here every morning that this Republicans have not just been talking about reducing costs and fraud and abuse in so many areas and in healthcare. We've been actually passing new laws to accomplish that urgent mission for the people, and we will continue to do so. So here's where we are by way of schedule, just so you know, you're following, and if you're not at home, if you're waking up to this good news this morning, the Senate's vote late last night of 60-40 opens the door now. The Senate is moving forward on an amended House CR, continuing resolution, that will reopen the government until January 30th. Added to that are provisions to fully fund SNAP provisions through the end of the next fiscal year, which is September 2026. Guaranteed back pay for all federal workers who have been made to endure these hardships over the last several weeks. And it also includes passage of 3 appropriations bills, which we're grateful to be moving through the process. That is the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs bill, it's the Agriculture bill, and the Legislative Branch bill. The Senate will be back in session this morning to finish their job, and we're certainly praying that they do. They'll need unanimous consent from all senators to fast track their final vote. As you know, there's some procedural hurdles that one or more could throw in the way, but we certainly hope that they won't do that because so many people across this country are desperate for the government to reopen. At the very moment that they do that final vote, I will call all House members to return to Washington as quickly as possible. We'll give a 36-hour formal and official notice so that we can vote as soon as possible to pass the amended CR bill and get it to the president's desk. As you all know, and he said as recently as last night, I was with him, and he told the press, he said, we want to get the government open. He's very anxious to get the government reopened and to end the Schumer shutdown. We all are. With regard to the travel challenges, I spoke yesterday at some length with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, my former colleague and good friend, and he lamented the serious situation that we have with air travel in the U.S. He's bent over backwards, as all members of the administration and the cabinet have done in all of their areas of jurisdiction, to try to keep the government working for the people and to mitigate the pain and the harm. But the problem we have with air travel is that our air traffic controllers are overworked and unpaid, and many of them have called in sick. It's a very stressful job, and even more stressful exponentially when they're having trouble providing for their families. And so air travel has been grinded to a halt in many places. And as of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights, U.S. flights, were either canceled or delayed. And it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder. I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues, Republicans and Democrats in the House. You need to begin right now returning to the Hill. We have to do this as quickly as possible.
Now you're going to return to the
Hill. We
Hill.
look forward to the government reopening this week so Congress can get back to a regular legislative session. We have a lot of business to do, as you all know, and we will be working in earnest. There'll be long days and long nights here for the foreseeable future to make up for all this lost time that was imposed upon us. I want to close with something that's important. I think it's important to say that this is genuine. I mean this sincerely. We applaud the 7 Senate Democrats and 1 independent senator who did the right thing. They decided to put principle over their personal politics. And my urgent plea of all my colleagues in the House, and that means every Democrat in the House, is to think carefully, pray, and finally do the right thing and help us to bring an end to the pain of the American people. This has gone on too long. Too many people have suffered, and it's long overdue. That's the update I wanted to give you this morning. There are probably lots of questions, but I'm going to get a lot of my own questions answered later today, so stay tuned for more. Thanks so much.
Wow, so that's from the Speaker of the House. It's interesting to find out the questions that were asked of him. But it's like, don't call it the Schumer shutdown. This was the Republicans and the Democrats shutdown. All they did was point fingers at one another. But now Mike Johnson is now telling his fellow constituent senators to come back to work after a month and a half. Now you're telling them to come back to work. It really is like they get in front of us and they act like the American people are so stupid. Don't y'all know that we have more than mainstream news right now? That we even have AI now that you can ask what's going to hell on. We have so many sources of news now that you can find out the truth, that you don't have to just listen to Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, Meet the Press, Morning Joe, CBS, NBC, ABC, all the C's, that you can go on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. You can go on Ground News, that's non-biased, and show both sides, the left and the right. You have to pay for it. That's what I do, because it's worth it to get the truth and to get both sides and see where both parties stand at. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans. So what affects one community affects all communities. You can't separate us. No, if I have a Republican, I have a Democratic senator, and I voted Republican, he still has to take care of his Republican citizens. They can't separate us. Whatever happens to one geographic people, they can't separate. It happens to all of us. You can't separate white people that's getting welfare from black people, which welfare was created for white people, and they started receiving it in 1935. Black people didn't start receiving any kind of government assistance not until what, 1964, 65? So this wasn't even for us, not until the Civil Rights Bill were even black people able to get any help from the government, even though we pay taxes.
Yeah, we're not yelling.
You know,
we're just telling the truth.
So it's just, I'm just like, so many lies. It's like, I feel like I'm just finding out so much truth right now that I didn't know. And we've been so busy battling each other while we are allowed to suffer, and the government is playing us on both sides.
Del Waffle said welfare was established for U.S. Army widowed wives.
You know, and that's, yeah. So now the people that's mostly affected are, well, the news don't like to show you, but because of social media, they're showing you how it's affecting white people. And see, you got to affect white people to make a difference. They're affected more than anyone else, and mostly Trump base. So the Democrats actually been fighting for Trump's base, but because of the party divide and so loyal to each party, that even when people are fighting something to help you, you fight them on it. That's how crazy the world is right now. We're fighting against everyone. I want to fight for what's right for all of us. And if we can send, during this shutdown, $40 billion to Argentina, and I don't see nobody having a march against that. Nobody's saying anything. But people got something to say about 42 million people that help them. You got people, oh, they shouldn't get no money. They shouldn't get any assistance. Right. That's a lie. They should. But when other countries, when they can't take care of their citizens, we take care of them. We take care of everybody except for our own. That's how it goes. You know, people take care of everybody else's household except for their own household. So this is
point in the longest U.S. government shutdown has been Democrats demanding that Republicans negotiate to extend health care subsidies that are about to expire. But last night, 8 Senate Democrats threw in the towel by siding with the GOP to advance a vote that could lead to the government reopening. And they tried to explain themselves to their unhappy colleagues. Take a look.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement. But waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome.
This agreement tonight is a win for the American people. There was zero chance of dealing with the ACA issue as long as the shutdown continued. Now, I don't know, 50-50, but there's a lot better chance now than there was this morning.
This was a very, very bad vote. And what the election showed is that the American people want us to stand up to Trumpism, to his war against working class people, to his authoritarianism. That is what the American people wanted, but tonight, that is not what happened.
So, I mean, you know, 50-50 chance of negotiating health care subsidies. I just remember all of the people who are coming in and hoping that people would vote them in and say, yes, you can be this person, or you can be a judge, or you can be this. And they all said, no, we're not going to mess with anything. No, we're going to leave everything as it was. I have no faith that they're going to negotiate and come back to the table. And you know, I'm glad that folks, maybe, because again, we have seen, you say this is going to happen and then it doesn't happen.
Right.
So surprise me and show me that this is really, that people are going to get their money, that people are going to get the money that they are entitled to. It's not a gift.
Right.
They're entitled to this money during when there's a shutdown. You're entitled to that money.
Yeah.
So
There's
this
a
idea
contingency
that
fund.
they're giving in and giving this as a gift, it's not a gift. You know, it's I don't understand. So is he right that Americans wanted Democrats to keep fighting? You know, and this would, and you know, people will get rehired, supposedly, federal workers, and reinstate SNAP benefits, but a 50-50 chance of extending the subsidies, I don't believe it.
So I've been saying from the outset, I don't think anyone wins in a government shutdown, and I welcome this deal. And let me tell you why. So the fight over extending the Obamacare subsidies is about addressing 22 million Americans who are going to see their healthcare premiums skyrocket. I believe that's important. I'm with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm with Mike Lawler and a number of Republicans who believe we have to extend those for at least a year. However, in the interim, while the government remains shut down, 42 million people are losing SNAP benefits ahead of the holidays. So to me, we've got to hold out for those 22 million whose premiums are going to go up, but deny these people SNAP benefits in the meantime. That math doesn't math for me. I think adults need to get to the table and need to be willing to negotiate. And here's the other factor that wasn't mentioned here. Donald Trump has been pushing Leader Thune to nuke the filibuster, which would allow Republicans to reopen the government without needing a single Democratic vote to do so. Leader Thune didn't do that. He actually worked with a number of Democrats to come to this conclusion, which does get them some win, reversing those layoffs, as you mentioned, extending SNAP and WIC benefits through the end of 2026, also ensuring that the military and Veterans Affairs get paid, and guaranteeing this vote on Obamacare subsidies, which we'll see. But that is a much better deal than what could have happened if it was not reopened. And finally, Democrats are going to look like losers if they're just attacking each other in this. For some reason, Marjorie Taylor Greene was better at messaging the stakes of this shutdown, it feels like, than a lot of Democrats were. You have to give people the benefits they are entitled to under SNAP. You have to address the underlying issues of the crisis of healthcare in this country, but get government back working. No one can get anywhere. Flights aren't flying. The holidays are coming.
Yeah.
This is a welcome decision in my mind.
Okay. Look, let's be clear. The Republicans run the House. The Republicans run the Senate. The Republicans run the White House. The Republicans run the Supreme Court, as far as I'm concerned. This was a choice by Republicans to cut SNAP benefits. This was a choice by Republicans to cut ACA subsidies. This was a choice by the Republicans to gut the federal government and federal employment. Democrats had nothing to do with it. I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved. I think the Democrats let down the American people. And like you, Whoopi, I have absolutely no faith that the Republican Party will come to the negotiating table in good faith. You know, you do something like this, shame on you the first time. You do it twice, 3 times, 4 times, shame on me. Shame on the Democrats for even believing that the Republicans will, even vote on it. There's no guarantee in this New Deal that there's going to be a vote. There's no even commitment to have a vote. So the bottom line is the Democrats went into this after a blue wave out of the American people saying we do want the opposition. We the working people want the Democratic Party to fight for them, and now they just caved and surrendered. I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, if he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be.
I completely disagree with you, Sonny, for this reason. What you rattled off. The Republicans run the executive branch, the legislative, the judicial, according to you. They have all the power right now. The problem here is it's a privilege to say our food's not affected, our health insurance,
there are people in my family that receive state benefits.
I'm not just saying, I'm not meaning family. We're all affected by, as we go out. But I'm saying right here to say it's a privilege that they don't have health care and now they don't have food. The people are struggling so much. Our food banks all week in our towns were at the food banks. We were delivering nonstop and we kept getting notifications. They're empty again. They're empty again. Opposition, people can vote in a blue wave and say, but opposition, when you have no power, is not helping us at all. They need food on the table. We need our flights back up in the air. The holidays are coming. People can't afford Christmas.
The Republican Party should have done it.
Yeah, but guess what? By doing this now, you open the government, we get our Arizona special elect. Thank you. We get our vote on the Epstein stuff. And yes, thank you. I don't say her name right. Say it again.
Adelita Grijalva.
She will be sworn in because there are no more excuses.
And Epstein's files won't get released.
But they'll have to take a public vote and go on record for not doing it.
They don't care.
Sonny, I'm just saying that. Yeah, I care. But what you're saying about if they don't come through, fine. I don't have a lot of faith in them, but call them on their bluff. Let the American public know the Democrats did their best, and now they're saying enough is enough. People need food, they need health care. Anything that happens here that was promised and isn't delivered, completely on the Republicans.
Well, let me tell you, I'm one of those people who got caught in airport hell yesterday, but I don't even feel like I have a right to complain because I was going through TSA and there are people there who haven't gotten paychecks. And I could hear them say, because I was going through Miami International the afternoon, and they were talking about, oh my God, they're voting again. Our TSA workers, at the same time that they have the stress
and responsibility of keeping us safe in the skies are also having to be pending to CNN and whatever, vote results that are in Congress. That is ridiculous and it is shameful. And I'll tell you what else is shameful. And I lay this on Donald Trump, because the one that has the biggest bully pulpit here is Donald Trump. He is the president of the United States, much to my chagrin, but that means he has the responsibility to lead, to convene Republicans and Democrats, sit them around a table and have them craft a deal. But you know what Donald Trump was doing this weekend? Same thing he was doing last weekend. He was at Mar-a-Lago at a fancy party. Last weekend it was the Great Gatsby theme. This weekend he was hosting another fancy party with towers of seafood and champagne. The president of Argentina was at the fancy party this weekend, dancing happily. You know why? Because Donald Trump bailed him out with $40 billion of your U.S. taxpayer money while he refuses to fund SNAP benefits. And you know what we are doing with this deal? We are changing one group of suffering Americans, the federal workers and the SNAP benefits, for another one. Because people have no idea how much they're going to need to pay for health insurance. The premiums have already gone out and they are up 100, 200, almost 300% in some cases. If people lose insurance, if people drop out of insurance, not only will it be the death of Obamacare, it will be the death of Americans, because people will not go get screenings, people will get diagnosed with later stages of cancer, and this will cost lives. And we must demand better, starting with Donald Trump.
And we're not going to get better. Because with Donald Trump, the cruelty is the point. He does not care. This is a Republican choice. The last thing that I'll say about the federal workers, there's a 2019 law that requires the federal government to pay federal workers.
You must, it's the law.
It's the law. So the fact that the Democrats traded in their vote to get federal workers working again is ludicrous. Let the courts do their job.
No, it's to get SNAP benefits that people can't eat. People can't afford the holidays.
Well,
it's the right thing. People shouldn't be starving in America.
No, nobody should. Listen, this is a bitch we've had forever about people starving in America. This is the richest country in the world, and somebody had the nerve to write, we're out of money. We're not out of money.
We're not.
They didn't run out of money. There's money there.
We sent $30 billion to Argentina and gave tax breaks to the ultra rich.
I told y'all this was crazy. I told you it was insane. And I'm watching the fact that people are starving in Africa, starving. That Darfur, there is a genocide. People are being massacred, and these clowns have not mentioned it once. They have said, we're not sending out any money. We're America first, and yet we bailed out Argentina. We're messing with Viktor Orban. What the hell is going on in this country? What the hell is going on?
Donald Trump is Nero playing the fiddle while America burns.
Well, America's not going to burn. America's hot, but she's not going to burn. Because you know why she's not going to burn? Because everybody in this audience, everybody at this table is doing something to help somebody else. This is what we are doing as Americans. People are going out, they are bringing food from their own kitchens and bringing it to neighbors. That's what we do, and that's what we're going to keep doing until these idiots figure out what the hell we're doing.
One thing about they are fiery. They are going at it. They are really going at it. I think it's a lose-lose for Americans because no one's winning, but it's just mind-blowing that we can send like 30 or 40 billion dollars to Argentina during a shutdown, but we have a problem with opening up our government and assisting our less fortunate citizens. And when they say SNAP benefits, they're not telling you that these are working poor. They're not telling you that these are our vets. And this is Veterans Day. God bless you, everyone that's on here who have served. I'm going to say it over and over again. This is your day. But America is going through things I didn't foresee this. This wasn't foreseen. I had no idea that in October that we were going to have a government shutdown that was going to last like 40 days and counting. I had no idea that the United States citizens who were going to be held hostage while the Republican and Democrat Party did a blame game pointing the fingers at each other for 40 days, while Americans were losing jobs, while Americans were suffering from food insecurities. I had no idea that all this, and now you're going to have Americans that are going to lose their health care, but Canada has free health care for all its citizens. Israel has free health care. Over in Europe, people we support and give money to, they have free health care for their citizens. And we have nothing for ours. And what gets me is that people are so loyal to parties that you don't have a problem with that. You don't have a problem with us giving money to the world. To the world. No outcry.
What does that mean?
No outcry. We're going to hear what Fox has to say. We're going back and forth with CNN, Fox News, and
Someone said that Democrats are just partying. It's just a Republican doing the partying now, lady.
What is that supposed to mean?
What does that mean?
Nobody is partying on either side. The Republicans, I said it weeks ago, were going to win this, period. Because once they cut those SNAP benefits and it affected 42 million people, while the government shutdown was already affecting federal workers and 4,000 lost their jobs during the midst of it. All these federal workers, unemployment, all these federal workers who have lost their jobs since Trump has come into the administration. So the employment has gone up. When the last time you heard a job report of hundreds and thousands of jobs being added to the workforce? Because hundreds and thousands of jobs have been lost, even in the Black community. 300,000 Black women lost their jobs. I think it was the highest demographic that was affected since Trump taking office. Where are all these jobs? Now, there's been a lot of promises from Apple, Hyundai, from the Saudi Arabia prince, from Qatar. All these people are promising, but they're not here yet. So meanwhile, all these promises are made and all these jobs are being lost. And you can't replace a living wage jobs with McDonald's. That's not going to take care of a family. That's why people need food assistance, because those jobs do not pay a living wage. So this is about putting America first. And while you try to be prejudiced, some people are racist, while you suffer. And guess what? The party is not hurting because of it. Everyone in Congress are millionaires. They're not suffering. They have their health care. They have plenty of money. They're making six figures. While they have people who are barely making it fighting one another. That's the game plan. See, y'all don't even know y'all being played. Y'all fight to the end of the earth, the end of the world, for people who are laughing at you. They like, look at them fighting each other while we step on their neck.
Yeah, people aren't used to this because you got people saying like that we're stupid Democrats, but they don't even know our political stance.
It doesn't matter what they say. People can say what they want.
I'm just saying they point and blame and do
But
all
the
that.
truth is the truth.
Exactly.
You can't hide from the truth. This is Speak the Truth 2.0. We're not beholden to man. We're not beholden. We're beholden to what's right, what's honest. What would God do? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? It's about helping our fellow man. If we can help the world, but y'all cry about helping your own citizens with our taxpayer dollars. We just had an open border for 4 years that over 14 million people came in. Did y'all say anything about them luxury apartments? Those SNAP benefits, they were getting like $13,000. We talking about $148 for American citizens. But they was getting $13,000, $20,000. They was getting cash assistance, $30,000. Y'all didn't say nothing about the free college, free health care. They was on our Social Security. They're getting everything. No outrage for 4 years. Not a damn word.
That they were driving and couldn't even speak English.
They driving, couldn't even, they getting licensed, couldn't even speak English. They were flying without even having identification, where you had to have a real ID or a passport or driver's license to show to your TSAs for you to fly.
People have lost their life because of that.
A lot of people lost their lives opening up them borders, but that's another conversation. But I didn't hear any outcrying, no outpouring, no nothing. But when it comes to us, that's why I thought Trump was going to be a breath of fresh air. I said, okay, we helped everybody else. These people came from around the world. We already shelled out all our money to the world. We was at the same time helping Israel and Gaza, helping Ukraine, 350 billion, helping all these people. I said, okay, it's Americans' turn now. Now we're going to have a president that's going to help Americans.
We're even funding terrorists.
Yeah, what happened? Look at these conversations. And y'all are still fight till the end of the world. Look at the conversations we're having now. The world is looking at us like this is supposed to be America, the richest country in the world. Right? Richest country in the world. The other countries say, look at them. We treat our citizens better than America is treating their citizens. That's what's going on. They laughing at us. And we're supposed to be the smart ones, right? Right. Sure we are. I think the smart ones, they got health care for all their citizens. Free education for all their citizens. I think those are the smart ones. We pay more than everyone else. But we're fighting for the wrong things. We should hold all our elected officials. They work for us. Irregardless of party. They working for me. They're supposed to do what's best for me.
Regardless of how much money they make.
That's supposed to be their job. They doing a disservice to us when they're not looking out for what's best for us. And the Democrats caving in. All it did was create another bigger problem. A bigger problem. The Republicans, to be honest, for 10 years, they talk about Obamacare and still haven't put a goddamn health care plan on the table. 10 years. 10 freaking years. So what are they going to do now? Talk about open back up the government and with this. They still don't have a damn plan. No plan.
Are they referred to as public servants, or is that just
They are public servants. They're elected officials. They're public servants. They're supposed to serve us. Where's the plan at? 10 years since Obamacare, and they kept saying then, oh well, we need a plan. We need something better. Still don't have anything better. But you're gonna get rid of Obamacare? You're gonna get rid of the Affordable Care Act to give you nothing. Nothing.
Thanks, Patricia. She said, I'm glad to see your son standing by your side. And you're definitely right. Other countries are laughing at us.
Hot. You turned it off?
No. You hear me?
Yeah. Thank you so much. We got to stop dividing ourselves. If y'all really want America first, y'all need to act like it. It's not just words. We're supposed to, whether you voted for a Democrat or a Republican, hold your elected official responsible. Call your elected official. Call that 202 Washington number or look it up. Ask Siri the number to your congressman or woman. And tell them, give them your sentiments. That you don't want the government open up and people are going to lose their health care. Or your premiums are going to triple, quadruple, and make it unaffordable, and there's no plan on the table to replace it. So y'all gonna they're gonna let it expire. Hear this, if y'all can't hear anything else, hear this. They're gonna allow it to expire, and they're not offering you, the Republicans, anything in replace. So either they're starving you, and now they're taking away your health care. Is that making America great again? Y'all gonna die on the sword. What is that doing for American citizens? We need them working it out. Don't get rid of, that's life. Why would you sell your house and you don't have a house to go to? You don't get rid of something and there's no replacement.
And the government shut down and Trump flying to different countries.
Trump flying to different countries, having big elaborate parties, partying, have a good time. How you do his dance?
It was cool seeing him at the football game.
Yeah. But that's all fine and dandy. But I'd expected more from this administration.
Yeah.
I expected more because I'm like, Trump is a businessman. He knows how. This is horrible. I'm like, he's a businessman. He knows how to talk to the other countries. So I already done business with him. He's going to get America back on track. He's going to do this and that. And this is what happened. It's happening. How do you go from the Democrats, which did a horrific job? Biden wasn't even the president. We still don't know who the president was during that time. He was on vacation 40% of the time. Kamala wasn't even on the job. She is supposed to be a border czar. She just had open borders. Nobody was working for the American people. Was not one freaking damn
The auto pen.
the auto pen was the only one working, and I didn't see any rallies.
Obama.
I didn't hear any complaints. Nothing. Trump coming off. We got all of this that's going on when it comes to helping Americans.
Someone said, "Girl, when we partying, let's grab dinner."
I'm so busy. If y'all can't tell, I'm an activist. I have my titles have been publication, director of publications and legislation. I've always been like a legislative director, an advocate, activist. I've had so many rallies. I've been I've been with all the Democratic leadership and senators, Congress people, Washington. That's me. Okay, I have represented my company of hundreds of thousands of people as one of the outspoken people. That's me. I fought hard for the previous election to get Biden and them elected, door-to-door canvas, phone banking, had my team, the whole 9 yards. But you can look at my videos and see me with Biden and stuff. Yeah. But after the last administration, I was like, damn, what happened? They didn't do anything for black people, and we got to stop just giving our votes away. Don't vote for anyone, the black community, unless the Democrats or the Republicans put something on the table to earn our votes.
Samuel, that's great and all, but you need to focus on what's happening right now. Right now. Not everything he's done before. What's happening right now. And Trump had a great record out there before. He did so much for HBCUs. He did the First Step Act. I'm like, okay, Trump is the way, and now this happens to all Americans. They're saying like gas is cheaper, my 401k is
good. Yeah.
We have brand new numbers on what is going on at airports across America, and so we get these updates every little bit. I want to bring you this one. Due to the shutdown, the Transportation Department has slashed the number of flights by 4% across 40 of the busiest airports, and we know that they will feather in more and more percentages up to whatever number they need to get to almost slow everything down. So we're at 4% of the top 40 busiest airports, and that is making a difference already, but not if you're working without a paycheck. Travelers are seeing more and more disruptions as the government shutdown stretches on for this record-breaking 41st day. The latest numbers from flightware.com, more than 3,400 flights delayed today already, 1,700 canceled. So that's an uptick from just the beginning of this hour. Because there is already a snowball effect when that happens, we expect to see those numbers rise quickly now and throughout the day. We'll keep you posted. Well, we are not sure exactly why they waited so long, but it appears 8 senators chose suffering Americans over their own political futures. The 8 Democrats bucked their own party leaders to advance a new bill to fund the government, step 1, and reopening. And they are facing punishment now by members of the Democrat Party. Politico's top headline this morning calls it a dim civil war. Quote, the Senate moved forward with a procedural vote that should mean this record-breaking crisis is finally coming to an end. What replaces it is the eruption of an ugly Democrat civil war, as the party rips itself to shreds for dealing across the aisle. End of quote. Senator Bernie Sanders.
8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote.
Liberal California Congressman Ro Khanna went scorched earth on leadership. He posted this. Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. California Governor Gavin Newsom called the vote pathetic and said that America deserves better. Yeah, they just simply want people to starve. Let that sink in. But when it comes to the direction of the Democrat Party, it seems to be headed in one direction, really far left.
The most powerful part of the Democratic Party now is the progressive wing, which until a couple of weeks ago was the AOC Bernie wing. Now it's the AOC Bernie Mamdani wing.
Now remember their politics, all for free food apparently, but not when you really need it. Power Panel in Focus, Matt Gorman, Republican strategist and Executive Vice President of Targeted Victory. Jose Aristimuño, former DNC press secretary. Jose, as I come to you, 8 heroes is what we should call them, because I can't even imagine politically what this feels like. Now, some of them are retiring, and I have said before, maybe that takes, some sort of blame away from them, or maybe not. Your thoughts?
Look, Harris, what a beautiful thing when we come to the middle and we practice.
We didn't come to the middle. You had 8 people reach an agreement, some of them retiring, that maybe starving Americans might be a better way to go, suffering Americans, than your own politics. Don't sugarcoat it.
Sure. Well, look, the reality is that when you put country first, we can move the country forward. We did it in Virginia, that's what we want. We did it in New Jersey, that's what we want. When my party comes to the middle and we talk to Republicans like regular human beings, we can do really, really well.
Why only 8?
I'm very happy. I applaud these 8 senators. Well, I am very happy these 8 Democrats are coming forward. Let's reopen our government. By the way, this does not mean that we should not be talking about the subsidies for Obamacare. I think that's important. And
That's
I think
been on the table for 2.5 weeks to do at the end of the CR.
I think we should reopen the government and then we can talk about subsidies. But if we do not talk about subsidies for Obamacare, I think Republicans would do very, very bad come the midterm elections in 2026.
Matt.
No, look, I love how Democrats are taking a victory lap for finally accepting reality and accepting the deal that it's been on the table for weeks. Reopen the government without any preconditions, and we will talk about any other priorities that you want. Again, Democrats shut down the government for 40 days, ended up in the exact same place, but with egg on their face. Democrats caved, and what you're seeing is a lot of Democrats on the far left, because the far left hand didn't know what the left hand was doing in this whole process, are mad. And I think you're seeing the energy, the money from the left going to be really taken out if some of these senators are not retiring, or we're going to be seeing a lot of pressure on Democrats in the House as well. Remember, this shutdown was solely about placating their left-wing base, nothing more.
Jose, before we move on, I want to ask you this. Does this make it out of the House? Because I've been mentioning to viewers how many more steps we have. We've got to get through there next. Representative Lawler was with me earlier this hour. He seems to think so, but this is tough because the farthest left that you have in your party in numbers is in the House.
I agree, but I think if Republicans stick together and some of my moderate Democratic friends, I think we'll do just fine. I'm very optimistic, Harris. We'll get the government open.
I like your optimism. All right. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries sounds confident in his party's chances in the upcoming midterm elections. Watch his optimism.
Democrats are definitely going to take back control of the House of Representatives, and we're going to stay focused on the issues that matter. Lowering the high cost of living, fixing our broken healthcare system, and cleaning up corruption to actually deliver a country that works for working class Americans, for everyday Americans, and for middle class Americans.
However, Jeffries may want to take a look a bit closer to home. He could face a midterm challenge from a far-left Gen Z New York City councilman. GOC is reportedly planning to take on Jeffries even though Mayor-elect Mamdani has told him not to. I don't know, are you listening to Mamdani? Just another example of a party divided. So, Matt, this is fascinating because Mamdani, of course, is still 50-plus days away from taking office. But he's already in the goo, if you will, of the next thing.
I gotta love it. I think I might be a little cynical, but I think Mamdani might have given a wink and a nod. Don't do it. Don't challenge him. And you're seeing this also with Dan Goldman, another Democrat member of Congress, Brad Lander, far left ally Mamdani's challenging him as well. And I guess I have to laugh at the hypocrisy of Hakeem Jeffries talking about working class people when they were the ones, Democrats, that held the SNAP funding up for 40 days, wouldn't let air traffic controllers, federal workers get paid. I mean, you're seeing all the chaos around airports across the country. Working people taking those flights to get where they need to go. They claim they're for the working people, and yet they withheld the government, kept it closed for 41 days. It's the height of hypocrisy.
All right, Jose, you get the last word on this, because you and I have talked about leaders that have those types of policies from where your family left.
That's exactly right, Harris. I think Mamdani looks more like Hugo Chavez than an American future mayor. I think, you know, he's going to be mayor. It's not a big deal. I think he's a minority, and I think he's an exception to the rule of my party. I don't think the Democratic Party majority of folks are like Mamdani. There are more people like me in the center. But I think we're the big tent party for a reason. So I think some of the challenges here is that we're going to face coming into 2026 is how do we come together on messaging, on narrative, when we have different type of thoughts within our own party.
Well, former deputy at the DNC, you used to be in charge of that. They may have to hire you as a consultant. Good to see you both. Matt,
might be a good idea.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily.
Well, there's a lot going on, you guys, and there's a lot of bickering going on. And even though they've had 8 Democrats that say that they will vote to pass the bill, that still has to be done. It still hasn't been done. So I don't even know who to believe right now. They got Schumer. This is what Schumer is saying. He has a whole nother take on it. I think that you have people in both parties that work behind the scenes that, you know, they're not loyal to the, I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know if they're being bribed. Who knows? But it's something else that's going on here.
Democratic leader. Mr. President, America is in the midst of a Republican-made healthcare crisis, worse than anything the American people have seen in decades. Republicans have spent the past 10 months dismantling the healthcare system, skyrocketing costs, and making every day harder for American families. Because of Republicans, Americans are going to suffer immensely as this healthcare crisis gets worse. Democrats have been fighting to end this crisis over and over again. Democrats have wanted to lower costs, but Republicans fought us every step of the way. We gave Republicans not 1, not 2, but 3 chances this year to extend the ACA premium tax credits. Republicans said no every time. On Friday, we offered Republicans a compromise, a proposal that would extend the ACA tax credits for a year and open up the government at the same time. They once again said no. And when they said no on our compromise, they showed that they are against any health care reform. Instead, they passed the biggest health care cuts in our nation's history just to give tax breaks to billionaires. And even then, they weren't satisfied with merely closing hospitals and community health clinics. They callously did nothing to deal with the looming crisis of ACA credits. Premiums will spike by thousands of dollars a month. Millions will lose insurance. Democrats have sounded the alarm. We have demanded for months to meet with the Republican leadership. But Republican leaders refuse to even discuss the issue, let alone negotiate it. We've asked them to meet in the summer and throughout the shutdown. To this day, Republicans still say no. We asked President Trump to step in and meet with us to deliver lower health care for Americans, and instead, Donald Trump has taken the American people hostage. From cutting off food aid to hungry families and vets and seniors and kids, to manufacturing flight cancellations, to cutting off home heating aid, while he builds a $1 billion ballroom with gold-plated toilets. Therefore, I must vote no. This healthcare crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR that fails to address the healthcare crisis. But let me be clear. However this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get health care coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this healthcare trauma on them. Donald Trump and the Republicans. Americans will remember Republican intransigence every time they make a sky-high payment on health insurance. So we are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections. Healthcare costs made a major impact on the 2025 election, and they will certainly have an even greater impact on the 2026 election. So in conclusion, the contrast between the two parties is crystal clear. Republicans are the party hell-bent on taking people's health care away, all to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people. I yield the floor.
I don't know about not giving up the fight. So you guys, like people on here, it's like no matter what's being said or no matter what's going on, it's like I don't like the trade-off that there are millions of American citizens that are going to lose their health care. Why? Why are the Republicans hell-bent on not extending the ACA for a year? Where is the replacement health plan? This is real talk. Like, there's no victory in this if you voted Republican. If you're for Trump, there's no victory in this. That the Democrats cave. I knew they were going to have to, because it's been nothing but suffering the last couple of months for American people. So when people suffer, they start crying out. So I said the people are going to cry out. First, you got people not being paid with the shutdown, and they're getting eviction notices. They can't pay their car notes, and then on top of it, their regular paycheck's not going to cover the expenses because now you got late fees. So now you got late fees. And even when they open it back up, it's not immediate back pay or money that they're going to get. So they knew that the Republicans knew they could wait this out. I knew they could wait it out. Knew it weeks ago. They said, okay, let's just cut the SNAP benefits. The shutdown was one thing, but then you cut the SNAP benefits. We're not going to feed Americans. Wow, how do we justify giving $40 billion to Argentina? How do you justify that? Where's the justification in this? I don't care how much you love Trump and his administration. Where's the justification? Because I'm about America first, American people. I'm not about party. I voted for both parties. But I see Americans are hurting. We're already hurt because the last goddamn administration, the Democrat administration, now we're hurting with this one as well. And that's the truth. But they're not telling you no replacement for Affordable Care Act. So everything the Democrats are saying is true. Without having the ACA, people are going to be cut off. People are going to, 50,000 they're estimating per year will die. And hospitals are going to be closed, especially in those rural areas. And, you have to, I guess, take an hour or so to get to a hospital. Don't have an emergency. So all these things are going to be going on. So first you remove food from American citizens, and then you remove health care. How is that better for American citizens? So someone in chat explain me, how is this great? What's great about this? I was so happy to get away from Biden's him and his administration. And then we leaped into the fire. I'm like, God damn, can Americans just win? Can we win?
Can't catch a break.
I mean, God darn. Is anybody for us? People looking at parties and they not looking at what's happening to people. Wait till this stuff, wait until it all start happening. Wait till it kicks in. I mean, when is Americans going to win? When are we going to have elected officials that actually are working for the benefit of the American people? When is that going to happen? I just want to know, when is that going to happen? Those 8 Democrats that cave in, they probably not running for re-election. They're not running for office. Because it's going to come out next year when everybody's getting kicked off of health care and people crying because they can't go to the hospital. They can't be seen by, you know how much it costs to be seen by a doctor? You can't pay out of pocket. You don't have the money for that. And drugs are costing look, a lot of prescriptions, they're $1,000 per prescription. And you got seniors, disabled, they have multi medications. And our vets, who's winning? Y'all want to be big and proud about y'all parties. I voted Democrat. Oh, I voted Republican. Who's winning? Who's winning? We got so much energy for other countries and tell them what they should do for their citizens, and look at our government. What are they doing for us? Do we have free health care? Do we have free education? We're going through food insecurities, but we send aid to the rest of the world because they suffer food insecurities. But y'all complain about taking care of our own people with our taxpayer dollars that the governments, Democrat or Republican, has helped themselves to our money without our permission. You know, these elected officials, they making the decisions for us, like we're in agreement. Who are they fighting for? They're not fighting for us. I haven't been for the Democratic Party, but some things are good from each party. We should fight for health care, but not at the expense of stopping food benefits for children to be fed, and vets, disabled, and seniors, and the working poor. That's who is affected by SNAP benefits. That's who's hurting right now, and they can't last much longer. They have people that they have going to supermarket. You know, you're going to have people become criminals because they can't watch their children not eat. Y'all think y'all winning. Everybody think they winning because y'all sticking with a party. Good luck with that until it hits your house. Because it's coming for you. Everybody think it's happening to someone else. No, it's happening to you. You just didn't feel the effects of it yet. Then when people feel the effects of what the Democrats was fighting for, then they be like, oh, why didn't they fight? Why didn't they? Oh, well, because the Republicans is like, we can wait this out. Thanksgiving coming up, people can't travel. Flights aren't being taken off. People don't have money to get to work. TSA workers and traffic controllers and all that, they want to come to work. They don't even have the money to get there at this point because they can't pay for gas. You know how much gas is? They don't have money to go all this a month and a half with no paycheck. So they can't even go to work. They probably doing Uber and DoorDash right now and Lyft because they're not getting a paycheck. So they got to try to make money other ways. I don't think anyone's winning when we don't work together as American citizens. We have to work together, and people don't want to do that. People don't want us to work together. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. I know this is a hard conversation. I know people don't want to think outside the box because people are here, mostly we have, of course, Republicans. But when you talk about sometimes what's right, they don't want to hear what's right. They just want to be loyal to the party. But everything about your parties, these parties aren't right. And when they're not, then you got to call it out, especially if it's affecting your family members, your loved ones, your community. You have to call it out so that they will do right by us. Do right by us. And that's what I expected from this administration. I didn't expect this government shutdown and all of these things that's been happening. I didn't expect these things to happen. This was unexpected. I thought we were moving in the right direction. Trump was traveling all these different countries, making all these deals, bringing, I thought, wealth into this country, bringing more jobs, doing, imposing tariffs on them so that they will, do job, work, have jobs here in America. That they would support American jobs and Americans like we've been doing in their countries. That's what I thought that was going to happen. This that's been going on, I didn't see this coming. I'm going to be honest. But it comes a time that we need to support what's right. I don't like the trade-off, people. I don't like we open the government, but people lose their health care. I don't like that trade-off. I think something should have been put in place, and the Republicans should have been, instead of, not working, they should have been negotiating. We elect them to be problem solvers. We elected them not to be not speaking. We elected them to go to work and work it out on our behalf. That's why I vote. They're supposed to work it out on our behalf. They're not doing their job if they don't go to work. They're not doing their job. You're saying, okay, why are we getting rid of Affordable Care Act? Why? Why are we not extending it until the Republicans have a better health plan to replace it? Why aren't we doing that? Can someone in the chat tell me why aren't we making those kind of concessions? Why aren't we doing that? I'm in agreement. If Affordable Care Act, it's been going on for 10 years and there has been no outpouring that people haven't been getting the help they need. So if the Republicans have something better, then why isn't it out there?
Well, Patch, that doesn't seem true, because if that did happen, then you would feel more aligned with being with the people who are helped off of SNAP. If you came from welfare and you've been on SNAP for 30 years,
there's some
don't leech on the government.
But you don't tell the rest of the world don't leech on United States government, right? You don't have a problem with that $40 billion we just gave to Argentina, right? You didn't have a problem with the $350 billion leeching on our damn money, right? You ain't have a problem with 14 million plus illegal immigrants coming in here into this country and put on our SNAP and welfare benefits and our Social Security and our Medicare and our educational system, and we had to provide housing and luxury apartments. You ain't have a problem with that, right? That's how you don't make sense. No outcry about all the help we do for everyone else. But now that we say, let's help Americans? Why are we going to do that? Why are we going to help them? Why are we going to help the working poor? Why are we going to help kids who don't have food insecurities? Why are we going to help the vets? Thank you, all the vets that are on here. Why are we going to help them, right? Are you kidding me? You know, when people talk like you, it's so jacked up that there are no words for it. We don't have anything to say about all the help we give to the rest of the world. Not one damn word. But as soon as we talk about helping Americans, the sky is falling. And the Republicans, if you're not going to do, why are we not extending the Affordable Care Act for Americans? Why? Why not?
Patch, what you got to say now?
Why not? Why not? Why are we going to cause premiums to triple, quadruple? Why are we going to allow out? Now that's the next big ass crisis if you didn't get that memo. There's no plan from the Republicans to replace it. They've had 10 years and they still don't have a plan. So you tell me, what's the plan? What's the plan?
Someone say you're speaking facts.
Thank you. I'm sorry, you guys. God put in my spirit that just to fight for the voiceless, fight for people that don't have a fight for what's right. If you're a Christian, how can you watch things going on? It's in the Bible. We're not supposed to sit back and watch suffering things happening and don't say anything about it.
Hello.
I can't help it but to speak out. Just because I'm taken care of, just because I don't have those problems. My refrigerator is so packed, there's no room to put food in there and covers. I don't have these problems, but I care about those who do. I have double insurance. Facts. I don't have these problems. But that don't mean I don't care about children that suffer from cancer won't get freaking treatment.
It's not that simple.
I care.
It's not that simple.
Caring is free. None of y'all want to help people that's suffering right now during the shutdown. How about caring doesn't cost you a damn thing?
Ronald said they need to get a job.
They have jobs. They're the working poor. They have jobs. Now, what's the next crazy thing? Did you tell all those illegal immigrants that came into this country they need to get a job? We shouldn't have gave them shit, right? Did you tell them to get a job? What Argentina's going through, helping out that country, did you tell them to get a job? Did you tell Ukrainians, y'all need to get your own $350 billion to fight your own? Did you tell them to get a job? Y'all got all this for Americans. Americans got to jump through hoops with our own taxpayer dollars, but we give out money to the world. That's how crazy this is. And a little bit, $148 a month, doesn't feed anybody. To get that, you got to jump through hoops for the government to even approve it. If you're an American citizen, they don't just give it out. So the job that you have today, life goes up and down. That's not saying you're going to have a job tomorrow. So when it lands on your feet, you have that same energy when it happens to your household. What was his name? You're going to remember this. Because life is a roller coaster. It goes up and down. One day you can have a job, and tomorrow you might not. Because where we're heading to in the future, it's going to be a lot more people losing jobs. Well, who was it? Because he gonna eat those words. Who said they need to get a job? Ronald, Elbir? Yeah, you stand on that. Because your turn is coming. Because God will humble you. God will humble you. So you keep that same energy when it's your turn. Like thinking that people are not working. People are working. That's what this is all about. They are working.
Patch, that's not the point of the live stream, though. That's not what's going on right now. You want to see the Republicans care for the American people by reopening the government.
Not losing the health care in doing so. Reopen the government. Extend the health care. Don't put Americans in a position that we reopen the government, but millions are going to lose their health care. I don't think that's a fair trade-off. And the Republicans knew that they could wait it out. I knew they were going to cave. You saw my videos weeks ago. Probably the second week I said the Democrats are going to cave because the American people are going to demand it. Because when you have it shut down the government and people aren't being paid, the military, the federal workers, the TSA officers, the travel controllers, the airline controllers, ones that control the towers. When all those things happen, and then even during the shutdown, was 4,000 more federal workers had lost their jobs. So the unemployment rate is just climbing. It's just going up. But their jobs, you just want to get a job. Those jobs you just don't replace. Those are not McDonald's jobs. They just can't replace those jobs like that.
TBL, then explain yourself. Explain why what we're saying is wrong. It's like when people have no argument, they always go to insults.
Well, that shows that they lack communication skills. Insults, like, it's right back at you. We could go tick for tack. But we know we are perfectly and wonderfully made. We're the apple of God's eye, and we love who we are. And I never desired to be anything other than what God created me to be, a Black female. I love my culture. I love who we are. I love what we contributed to this nation and what we done, what my ancestors done for this country. We are proud Americans.
And if you really want to go there, we could talk about how intelligent this family is.
So we don't, so you can't come online unless you can deal with ignorance and people that have no substance and they don't have these kind of comments, or they don't say the same stuff they say online to their coworker that's bullying them, or their boss that's bullying them, or their husband or wife that's bullying them. They don't have all this energy, but online they what they call them, finger warriors, keyboard warriors. but nobody should agree with everybody with everything. And I don't serve man, I serve God. And if something's wrong, I'm not like I voted for Republican, but everything they do, I'ma stand with it if it's gonna hurt the American people. I don't want it to hurt. I was like, oh God, I'm glad it's a new administration, a breath of fresh air. But the American people are being injured right now. And that hurts me. What the poll says. We'll read the question.
Should the Democrats cave in and reopen the government? 55% said yes and 45% said no.
Yeah. People like we're trading in for more suffering. Like it'd be great to reopen it and there wasn't going to be more suffering, but more suffering is coming. And in the ways of your health. And if y'all don't know how health is more important, there's not enough money in the world that can replace good health. Health is more important than anything else.
Health is more important than wealth.
It is more important than wealth. It is more valuable than pearls and gold, your health. And when you got to trade your health for to eat, that's not right. That's a big toll to ask of Americans. So more hardship is on its way. More suffering is on its way at greater numbers. When you actually start hearing, they could do a tally of how many people are dying, I guess, per month once it all kicks in, because they were unable to receive health care. And when people have illnesses, they need to go to doctors. They keep so that the illnesses don't progress. So if they can't afford it, they're not going to get treatment. And who can pay for health care in this country when we have the highest rates in the world? Even our prescriptions and everything are the highest in the world. So everybody got something to say that it's not over with. Whether they open the government or not, what the Republicans are doing is a disservice to the American people if they don't have a health plan to replace the Affordable Care Act. If they're going to stop it and they're not replacing it, then woe unto them. How the Bible would say, woe unto them.
And YP said, she knows exactly what she's talking about. I don't care what party you're from, both parties are messed up.
That's right. I'm like, I don't even know who to vote for any longer. I did Democrats, now I did Republicans. I'm like, I'm independent at this point because I didn't see this coming. All of this, the year hasn't even ended. I didn't see all this. This isn't good. I expected us to be flourishing, getting on our feet, more people getting hired. I didn't expect all of this. This isn't good. It's not good for the people. So anyway, you guys, don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe. You guys, if we could please get these likes up, it doesn't cost y'all anything to show support. Whether you agree or disagree, it's still communication. We need to talk about these things. And that's what Speak the Truth 2.0 is about, looking at both sides. Like we reacted to the Democrat side and the Republican side, both. To see, because we need to talk about it. You know, let's talk about it. We need to communicate. And people have been asking because they want to come on, they want to debate. We are going to do that as well. We'll look for us to come on. We're going to try to come on so people can find us because YouTube changed the rules and all of that. So it's hard for people to find us. But we're going to try to set a time to come on throughout the week between the hours of 3 and 4. So hit your notifications so that when we come on, that you'll be notified. You want to participate. And we do want to have a contest. I was trying to have it before the end of the year, but things have gotten caught up. That, you know, we want to reach like 100,000 subscribers only because you should have goals to reach towards, you know. So we just want to have a goal. And we've had hundreds of thousands of people on our lives at a time. And we just want people to show support because this needs to go out, because one thing we offer is honesty and we're authentic. There's no script. It's not a script. Like people come on, the other YouTube, they have a whole script. Whole script made up. You know, they have all the bells and whistles. They have the studios. They have all of that. We're wrong. That's not us. We don't edit anything. We just come on, and we want to have people on our show because people are asking to come on.
Vince, then why
And that's what we want to have. People who necessarily aren't in agreement with us.
Vince, then why are you watching that?
Yeah, you're free to go. It's thousands of other channels out there. But the people that's on here, at the very least, whether you agree with us or not, at least we're being honest.
Everyone in the comments is arguing with Brad.
You know, just take that. There's so many people that's kissing the feet of these content creators. As long as they say, you know how easy it is for us, because our base is Republican. You know how easy it is for us just to say everything they want to hear? We would be skyrocketing in views. But we're not about that. We're about what's best for the people. Trump has done amazing things. But that don't mean I agree with this.
Hello, Art and Mine.
You know, so we want, you know, we have to be real. That's one thing you're going to get from us is honesty and being real. And so show your support. You know, when you hit the like button, then it goes out. That helps the algorithm. Because we weren't on for a while and it hurt us by us not coming on because we were traveling and doing other stuff. You know, we got life. But this is so important to what's going on. And you need people that are going to be honest and they're not just doing it for views. And, you know, and that's easy to do. I see so many sellouts. I see so many people. And people flock to them.
That's when they get their most views.
They get their most views, like others say, content creators who are from the Black community. When they just talk down about the Black community, oh, they get hundreds and thousands of views. People flock on there. But we're not that channel. We're about all people, about all Americans. We are Americans, and we're one nation under God. And it's going to come a time while we fighting each other. Russia is still bombing Ukraine. President Xi still wants to go and invade Taiwan, which means we're going to go to war because we're their allies. We got stuff that's coming.
These gangs are still in the country.
These gangs are still in the country. We got terrorists still in the country. It only took 19 to take out the Trade World Centers, Twin Towers, and they said we got 350 of them here. I mean, we got our own problems inside this country. So Americans need to learn how to stand as one nation under God, stand together. Because we got other problems.
There just was a report recently that Vladimir Putin is testing their nukes.
Vladimir Putin, he said he's want to test his nukes because of what Trump said. Trump talking about he want to test out nuclear weapons. And now you're stirring up the second most powerful country in the world, Russia. This is, Lord help us. Jesus is coming back soon, y'all, anyway. He'll be back soon. Don't worry about it. Jesus got us. But, but when we stand before God, we're going to give an account and we're going to stand for truth because we want to see them pearly gates and we want to say, we hear from God that, that we were faithful servants, and doing what's right. And that's what's important. People say they Christians, but the behavior doesn't go along with the title. Because if you're a Christian, God made the human race. Okay. He is not going to be one race in heaven, just in case y'all didn't get that memo.
Got a great comment and got a really, not their comment. Someone said, found you accidentally, but very happy to watch you again and again. Very honest and truthful. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's that? Say their name.
Randy Walker.
Hey, thank you, Randy Walker. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you subscribe. Tell people about Speak the Truth 2.0. And I'm glad you stumbled upon us because you know what? It's so important to me that we're honest.
Yeah. And someone said, I'm okay with people losing their EBT, SNAP, and food stamps, especially young people that refuse to get off their butt and go to work.
But you know what? Your mindset sounds juvenile. You sound juvenile. How old are you? You sound like a child that's ignorant that hasn't learned what's going. I mean, even this show been saying over and over again. You know, today's Veterans Day, and we salute our military. This is their day, but it affected them. You know that, right? They fought for this country. You saying they need to get off their butts? You know that they were the federal workers too that have lost their jobs. You understand? You understand that children are too young to work, that they rely on their working poor parents that need food assistance because they making minimum wages. That you know how expensive food is. Imagine having children and you got to pay your rent or your mortgage, your electric, gas, your phone bill, your utilities. You got to pay all these different bills, your car or whatever. If you got insurance, you got to pay, and you got to feed your children, and you still have to provide clothes and everything for them. Kids are expensive, and they don't have enough money when they're working 8 and 10 hours a day, and some of them 2 jobs, and they still not making a living wage.
And there's young people with children.
So young people are working, but they're not making a living wage. You know that, right? Working these everyday regular jobs or these department stores or McDonald's or these jobs, they're not paying them to be able to take care of a family. So they're working, and we got to pray for you because you sound selfish, and you need to learn the people that are being affected. But you're not telling. When we gave 40 billion, should have told you the Argentina get off their lazy behinds and work. And we should have taken care of our people. Our people here.
JR, everything she just said just went right.
It's okay. We don't got time for it. Too much energy. But anyway, you guys, they take too much energy because some people, they got bitterness, they miserable, and don't worry, it's coming your way. Because you live a little longer, everybody needs help, and you're going to need help as well. So all that energy and that selfishness, when it come your turn, then you have that same energy when it's your turn. Don't ask somebody for help, okay? Because these jobs are like this. They up and down. They up and down. You could be doing well today, not tomorrow. So you be careful. Because the way things been going down, it hasn't been good for Americans the last 5 years. If you're American, when it comes to helping us, everybody got something to say. But we can give billions to the world, $37 trillion in debt, while Israel and Canada and all of them got free health care for their citizens, and we give them billions of dollars a year. How crazy is that? They provide more for their citizens than America, and we supposed to be we supposed to be on top of the mountain. We supposed to be the king of the hill. And we can't take care of our people. And we have the highest taxes, the highest everything. And then y'all want to act like people don't work. That's a lie from hell. And I love social media because it can be proven now. So the media can't lie to you and say, make it like black people getting welfare. No, it's not us. They try to make us the face of DEI. It wasn't us white women who were the face of DEI. Yeah. They benefited from it, not us. Yeah. Welfare, white people get more welfare than any other race of people. Yeah. They're being affected, but they're not showing you. They'll put a black person up there or do a fake AI with black people tomorrow. Go, we need this and that. It's all a lie. Because black people are doing well. We're not barely making it. All those stereotypes. I mean, that was 40 years ago. Yeah. It's not now. We're educated. Education's not well. We're educated. We have great jobs. We're multi-millionaires, billionaires. We're middle class, upper middle class, wealthy. Yeah, that's us. We're trendsetters. The whole identity of America is from black Americans. Everybody copy our style, our swag, our clothing, our songs, from rock to country. That's what's all us. Hip hop, R&B, everything. Black people, black music. That's us. We know who we are. Inventors, scientists, engineers, architects, doctors, lawyers, all of that. So anyway, you guys, y'all stay blessed. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribe. We'll try to jump on here tomorrow, but it's time for us to have dinner. It's time to eat. So we have roasted chicken and habanero chicken.
Yeah, thanks.
Probably some broccoli, rice and gravy. You know, it's time to throw down. So anyway, I want to get in there and get this food together because we are hungry. But thanks for joining us. Try to get some more likes up. It'd be great if we could get the likes up to 60 before we sign off. But we do appreciate you guys. It don't cost y'all anything to hit the like. Just come on and maybe we'll bring you on, those who don't agree, you know, to have the conversation with us. We'll bring you on a live. So that's our next goal, is start bringing people on the lives. But to subscribers, people who have subscribed, we're going to bring you onto a live so we can have these conversations, because it's important. Whether we agree or disagree, is great to talk about it. We all don't have to go along with everything, but have the conversations. Everybody trying to be right. We're not trying to be right. We're just trying to do what's right. That's all. That's our only goal, is to do what's right. So God bless you guys. Thank you. We need 4 more likes to get it to 100, no, get it to 60. And we appreciate that. So anyway, you guys, thanks for joining us. Whoever haven't hit it. Thank you for the ones that come back, those who support the show. Thank you, Endure, our moderators. We gotta get some more moderators. So we're gonna start looking at people that come on so we can
Yeah, thanks, Endure.
yeah, so we can give Endure more help. You know, I want to bring Endure on too. Like bring her on, because she's been faithful. One of our moderators, we're gonna bring her on. But they said we need the email address to bring her on. So when you get a chance, Endure, provide us your email address. How can she? You can send it to our Instagram, Speak the Truth 2.0. And
need 3 more likes.
And we'll bring you guys on. And go check out my channel. I haven't worked on it yet, but it's Pray to All Here. And just show support. One way, not monetary. It don't cost you anything. And give us a like. And let this channel continue to grow. Right now, we're up to 35,000, I think 100 and something people. And we've had a channel for over a year. It's like a year and a few months. So we climbed pretty nicely.
Well, JR, to reply to that, the rich does invest in the country by creating jobs. Like the wealthiest people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates own these huge companies with tons of employees. So they are investing into the country.
But we can't allow it to be at working people's expense to take away benefits from the working poor, because that's what it is. We have the working poor. So anyway, you guys, thanks, you guys. We got it up to 58. Can we get 2 more likes before we sign off? And look for us tomorrow for Speak the Truth 2.0. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and leave comments, because after it ends, we do look for your comments. We'll reply to comments, but doing a live, it's hard to see all the comments because a lot of times we have thousands of comments and we don't see them. So we will respond. So when it goes down, go back, leave a comment. You can ask us whatever, whether you agree or disagree, or what you want us to do next with the show. You know, what you think that we could add to the show that'll be beneficial for everyone, or, you know, just give us some ideas. And we appreciate that as well. So anyway, you guys, thanks for sharing your time with us. God bless you. Until look for us tomorrow, Speak the Truth 2.0. Peace.